So, okay, crazy massive tanks. You have a 20,000 gallon home tank. Now, when you started building all the aquarium stuff, did you do it mainly because you couldn't find something to support your own stuff, or is it just because of the love of building it that kind of got you into it?
Well, at first, I mean, I had a 90-gallon tank, then went to like a 400-gallon tank, then a 1,000-gallon tank, then a 1,500-gallon tank. And what I found is I was outgrowing the equipment quicker than I could find suitable stuff. I started buying stuff from Germany and all over the world to try and get good equipment, and
Hmm.
everything I just kept finding flaws with it. The quality of the construction, the way it was machined, things like that. So I
Hmm.
just went into making my own stuff.
Now, did you already have this kind of lab and big kids playground of CNC machines and all this crazy stuff before you got into aquariums, just from all like the medical equipment, or is it something that came
Oh no,
afterwards?
yeah, the CNC machines. Because I can remember building my first skimmers using Tupperware dishes to make the circles and stuff, and cutting them with a router. So I
Hmm.
didn't have a CNC machine, so I built my first CNC machine myself.
That's awesome.
And then I just upgraded and then learned more about it and stuff like that. And finally, we've got all of our CNC machines now.
That's pretty crazy. Now, one of your newer products I've seen is kind of interesting. Actually, one of my buddies got one, and he's been talking it up constantly. But you got the automatic calcium reactor.
Yep.
So how exactly that works? Because I mean, the whole idea behind that kind of takes like the guesswork, and it kind of keeps itself tuned and everything else. Like, what's kind of the
Yep.
magic that you used to develop that guy?
Well, we wanted something that, because calcium reactors got such a bad name for so long,
Hmm.
and we wanted to get people off of this two-part dosing because I just don't agree with that. It's an easy way to get out of whack real fast on things.
Hmm.
So I figured I had to make something that would make it easy for people. So our reactors control the CO2 flow. That's
Hmm.
all automatic. You don't have to mess with any of that. And then currently, right now, we have a digital timer on there which pulses the output flow and basically ramp it up or ramp it down if you need more or less alkalinity. We've been working on new controllers. Like, actually, here's part of one right here. And these are all digital Wi-Fi based controllers. So
Hmm.
that's been taking us a long time to get all the circuit boards done and all that stuff. And that'll take all the guesswork out of running the reactor at that
So,
point. We just want something that's super stable.
hmm, so you literally walk up and just say more elk or less elk. That's it.
Yeah, that's about as simple as it gets.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, yeah, they interface with the tridents and stuff like that. So if you have a trident or an electronic, you can hook it up with that,
Oh,
and it will
nice.
control the set. But that's up to you if you want to do that or not.
No, that's pretty cool. So you can have whatever other device turn it on or off or interface to control it. So test it, keeps it dead
Yep.
stable. Make
Yep.
it easy. Make
Yeah,
it
we
easier
have
than that.
a slow down and a speed up function in there. So if your alkalinity is near set point, it'll start slowing the reactor down.
Nice. That was very cool. And then one of the other cool ones I saw recently was you had the CO2 switcher, which I've never seen that one before. That's a neat one. So you never have to worry about your tank running out.
Yeah, it's pretty common in like the medical and industrial world. I've got an industrial one on my tank,
Hmm.
and it's actually a piece of crap. It gives me trouble all the time. So I made my own. So basically, if your first bottle of CO2 gets low, it automatically switches to a reserve bottle for you. And
That's
then when you replace the first bottle, it switches back.
no, that's really cool.
Just something I thought would come in handy.
Hmm.
Mhm.
No,
One of
that's
my
really
wiener dogs. Sorry.
no problem. No, that's cool. So that now on yours, like just out of curiosity, like how massive of a calcium reactor you have to run on your tank?
Mine is 10 inches in diameter by about 5 feet tall. And I've outgrown that one, and now I got to build a bigger one. I'm just waiting for some more clear tube to come in. So we're going to go to a 14-inch diameter by about 6 foot tall.
Yeah, nice. That is huge.
And I
uh,
can show you one of my windows on my tank if you want to see.
sure.
I've been working on cleaning them. Um, you can see through that one, and then this is the other half that I haven't got a chance to clean yet.
Oh,
That's how bad the coralline gets. That's about 2 months of coralline growth right there.
oh wow.
It's just unbelievable, and it's solid. So I get in there with an air-powered sander, and I just grind it off. And you just buff it out. Yeah, it's really the easiest way to deal with it. And you
So
can see some of my ding dong fishes here. Yeah.
so you literally dive inside the tank to buff off the core line every couple months?
Yep. Yeah, I
That's
just get a cheap air powered sander
mhm.
off of Amazon for like $30. It maybe
Yeah.
lasts me 2 or 3 uses before it's shot.
Mhm.
Hose it down with a lot of WD-40 and it works.
Crazy. Uh, that's awesome. Okay, quick question. GDA Reefing was asking how much would a reactor cost for me for a 550 gallon SPS only tank? Like roughly, like what does a
Um,
custom one cost?
1350 is for the automatic one. That would be an
Okay.
8-inch diameter one unit,
Okay.
and 1350 delivered with a lifetime warranty.
All right. I know you said delivered. He's in Australia. Just throwing that one out there. So I don't know if you ship
Ah,
internationally or a
well,
little
yep, we
more.
ship international. Yeah, shipping to Australia is about $150 on a reactor like that.
Okay. Perfect. There you go. Yeah, so I don't know if he actually has it yet. One of my buddies, though, Corin, got one, and he's been talking it up constantly. He's just like, "This thing's amazing! I can't wait for the new controller," and so he's pretty excited for it. Uh,
Yeah, we're still getting kind of caught up with our backlog here. We're making stuff faster than we ever thought we could.
mhm.
Um, I could take you guys out to the shop if you want to see where we build stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Sure, check it out.
Okay, let's go for a walk.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, walk through the house here.
Yeah. Someone was asking, how big is the viewing windows for your tank?
They're 6 foot by 10 foot each,
Mhm.
and each one of them is 2.5 inches thick of acrylic.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid chunk of acrylic.
Walk through the garage here.
Awesome. Reef News Network. Thanks, number one fan. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Let me
Yeah.
do that again.
6 foot by 10 foot, and you have two of those. That's a pretty
Yep.
solid viewing panel. That's awesome.
Yeah, those were fun to get in there.
Yeah, no kidding. So, was your tank in your? Did you build the house around the tank, or did you somehow put it in after the fact?
No, we built the whole house around the tank.
Hmm.
Basically, the tank is separate from the house, believe it or not. It is actually sunk down into the ground about a half an inch into
Hmm.
the foundations because that's what it does. And we can see the movement in the house. But the house is separate from the tank, and that's mainly for humidity control and things like that.
Oh, interesting. Now, is part of that too just because of the sheer weight of it? Like, is that an issue of it shifting and settling and stuff like that?
Yeah, the ground shifting. We dug down 25 feet into the ground and we put concrete pylons all the way down.
Hmm.
But the neat thing about the tank is you can actually walk underneath of it because
Oh,
just the
nice.
way it's designed, the sumps are underneath it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. But this is a little bit of our workshop here. Some reactors getting built here.
Where all the magic happens.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out how this camera works to figure out how to show things,
There should
but
be,
that's
if you click on the screen, there should be like a little thing to flip it to the backside of your phone. Yeah, usually it's in the top right. Oh, I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Hold on a sec.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's usually in the top right, I believe.
Right.
No? Maybe not.
Yep, can't find it. I'm not too
Oh,
good
well.
with this kind of stuff, so.
No,
But
no worries.
yeah, that's one of our 8-inch little guys right there.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
size.
Yeah, then we make a version um, like that one right there, if you can see next to me,
Hmm.
and it's got a separate compartment on the bottom down here for magnesium.
Okay.
So it provides the
Nice.
magnesium and the alkalinity and the calcium, which is really nice.
Hmm. Oh, that's very cool. Now,
And we have
with
ones.
with your tank, someone else was asking, do you just use a calcium reactor, or do you do those trace elements, or do water changes, or anything else, or just straight up
I
calcium
do
reactor?
water changes occasionally. I have a 1,000-gallon tank that I mix up my salt water in.
Hmm.
So when I feel like it, I dump a lot of salt water in there.
Hmm.
Trace elements, I just use, I can't remember what it is. It's from Julian Sprung. He makes
Okay.
it in 1-gallon jugs for us.
Hmm.
And I love that stuff. But the only other thing I use is calcium hydroxide or regular old calc wasser and a calcium reactor.
Nice. So
That's it.
keeps it pretty simple.
Yeah, I believe in simple. I'm not a big fan of dosing all these different chemicals and stuff like that. Yeah.
It makes me laugh when you're like, I believe in simple, and then you see your control room and like a bazillion pipes and valves and automation. That's good. Um, Now, okay, so for maintaining your tank, what do you
Uh-huh.
actually do to maintain this massive system?
Not a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I clean the glass when I feel like it. We feed a lot of food, so we've always got a freezer full of Rod's food and PE mysis over here. So usual feeding schedules: one pack of PE mysis and then one pack of Rod's food together,
Hmm.
and they gobble that up, and they all seem to love that. And then I just go in there and clean the tank and do corals. And right now, I'm in the process of killing anemones because we got overrun by anemones on bubble tip anemones on one side of the tank, and I mean
Hmm.
they literally just took over and it got crazy. Um,
Yep.
if you want to go walk around, we can walk underneath the tank if you want to see that.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm up for seeing anything. That's awesome.
Okay.
So you feed 2 packs of food. Is that daily?
Yeah.
That's a good chunk.
Yeah, I believe in feeding really heavy.
Hmm.
I don't ever have any disease problems or ick problems or any of that kind of stuff, so it works out good for me. And the fish don't seem to complain.
Oh, they love it. I
Yeah.
find feeding heavy, it just reduces any aggression. Everything's more peaceful. If you have like coral nippers, it's going to reduce that as well if they're nice and fed.
Oh yeah.
So it definitely makes a big difference.
Take the quick shortcut down to the basement.
Excellent. Okay, so Reef News Network is asking about the idea behind the Wi-Fi RO controller.
I just wanted something, we wanted to build our own controller. So I hooked up with a friend of mine who was a retired, he used to work on nuclear weapons in the Air Force. And
Nice.
he's been helping us build the actual control box and stuff for it. We had the circuit boards made. We just wanted something that was more reliable than anything we could find on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we went to. We
Nice.
figured we'd just make it ourselves. You look here, this one here is about $4,000 CO2 switcher here. Trying to figure out how to make this thing work.
Yep.
And it totally sucks.
Huh.
So that's what I use for switching my CO2 tanks right now, and it's horrible. I gotta hook one of my own up. I haven't had a chance. This is the filter room right now. It's a real mess in here.
Mm-hmm.
We had to bore a hole through the wall during the summer, and I still haven't cleaned it up. So that's my calcium reactor.
That's a big boy. And that's
Yeah.
still too small for you.
So in about 3 weeks, I burned through about that much media in the calcium reactor.
Oh, wow.
So I'm constantly filling the thing up.
You burned through that quick.
These are my sumps right here. This is one.
Mm-hmm.
Has a big light on it that comes on at night. We got a bunch of critters living in there. And this is sump number 2. But up here, that's actually the bottom of the tank. When you see the valves and stuff.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that's pretty interesting up there. Let's see what else we got in here.
Oh, someone was just saying, if you swipe his thumb up from the bottom of the screen, it will flip your camera around. I don't know if that works, but it's Facebook Messenger video.
Okay. Swipe the what on the bottom of the screen? I didn't hear.
Try swiping up from the bottom to swap your camera. I don't know if that works, but maybe.
Well, that didn't work. Shit.
Nope. Yeah, that just turned off the video. Oh well, I never use Facebook Messenger for videos, so.
Gotta figure out what I did with you here. Hold on.
All right. Yeah, there's a little camera button at the bottom of the screen, so it's probably that one that turned it off. Oh well, you're back. All right.
Yeah, I'm looking for the camera button.
Yeah, usually it's in the top right corner, top left or right. Hey, there we go.
Okay.
Look at that. Got the tour of you.
That's my skimmer. So that's 24 inches tall. It's starting to go through the floor now. I don't have the auto washer running, so it's seeing how dirty it gets right now. Needs to be clean. It's been sitting here for months without being cleaned.
So it has a sprayer inside and just cleans itself out, or?
Yep. Yeah, it has a washing system up there, but for some reason we don't have it on. I'm not sure why. Big sand filter.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? This underneath here, this is actually underneath the tank itself. See, that's where the electrical panel.
Mm-hmm. It's cool that you have access to the whole underside. Oh, getting a little bit choppy.
UV sterilizer. Massive watts of UV.
No, you're chopping out a bit on me now. I heard massive UV sterilizer. Well, definitely. You're just chopping out a little bit there.
All information into one of the controls.
Okay.
Like these are all set up on PLC based.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see exactly what's going on everywhere.
So what you were chopping out a little bit. What were all the yellow sensors for?
They were sensors pumping into the tank and overflowing into the overflow. So that dumps about 300 gallons of water from each side of the tank at once. And that tank is on the third floor of the house, so it's got a lot of head pressure.
Oh,
But
huge.
you can see how much water that dumps.
That's a ton.
My cancers. That's it, really. I mean, not much to it in here.
Yeah. Well, there's still lots going on down there. Like, there's a lot of massive filtration
That's
stuff
a
down
pressure
there.
washer. Washing the floor. This is my power washer. That's a sump I'm putting in for a new set of quarantine tanks upstairs,
Nice.
which hopefully I'll get around to that soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that goes on in here. The big 6-inch pipe overhead, that carries the water from the surge. And that's where it originates from right there.
Yeah.
It's about a minute to fill it off, and then it dumps all at once.
Is that continuous?
So
Like every couple of minutes, it just surges?
That side of the tank comes across here to this side of the tank.
Huh. That's cool. Surging is actually probably one of the more efficient ways to get a bunch of flow in there on such a big system.
I lost you. I can't hear you.
Hey, can you hear me? And we lost him. I think the fact of being underneath 20,000 gallons of water doesn't help the cell phone signal. Recall him back. There we go.
Hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh.
It was a bit choppy.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't hear you for a bit.
Yeah. The 20,000 gallons of water is not good for cell phone signals.
Yeah.
So you started cutting out with you're talking about the yellow sensors everywhere, and then a little bit about the surge tank. You chopped out a little bit when you're explaining.
Oh, do you want me to go back to that?
No. Well, it'll just.
Yeah, I don't
chop
think
out
I
again.
get a very good signal. Okay. Well,
Okay.
we can go upstairs. I can show you behind the tank.
Sure.
Take a walk here.
Now, you said the surge that it takes what, a minute to fill up, and then does it continuously surge like every minute? It just dumps a ton of water into the tank, then pumps it back out, or?
Well, what it does is it goes from one side of the tank, it dumps out through there, and then on the other side of the tank, a minute later, it switches and dumps out on that side.
Okay, nice.
Those are my demon dogs. So we'll go back here.
Um,
Push house. This is that's the main break right there.
mhm.
So just have it all hooked up like that. How do I make the thing go back to front facing again?
Good question. How'd you do it last time? Usually it's in one of the top left or right corner, or someone else said you swiped up, but I'm not sure on that one. So Derek was asking what system is that to control it. It's very like industrial automation. Yeah, I believe you built that one too, didn't you?
Yeah, this is all just an industrial PLC.
Mm-hmm.
So I built it all, programmed it all. It just gives us a lot more flexibility and reliability compared to something like an Apex.
Mm-hmm.
That's my inside mess.
Nice. So
we did have a Cage Guardian hooked up to it and interfaced it, but it got to the point where it was so unreliable that we took it off. Because you can see on the screen there, I've got an icon for the KH units. Well, we just couldn't keep it working long enough. This is the main PLC part of it, and then we'll go.
Did you replace it, or did you replace it, or have any other automatic testers on there now?
No, I don't have anything right now.
No. You test your tank
I had
often?
3. Yeah, I had 3 of the KH units and got rid of them all. So I'm looking for something better. Yeah. But I might make something one day if I get a bug up my ass.
Nice. 3 in the morning inspiration.
Yep. Well, this is one the tank walkway back there. My died. This is paper like a mesh, real super fine mesh. Which is cool. It's a 6-inch butterfly valve that controls the surge. And if you look up there, the surge pipe goes all the way through there, then goes to the attic. So it fills up, this thing basically just, and by the top of the tank here, everything's lit by 1,000-watt halides. We had an accident on this side of the tank about 2 weeks ago where the outer envelope of one of the bulbs blew apart. We didn't notice it, and used all the corals on this side. So
yikes.
That was nice.
Yikes.
But we're getting to go back.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the tank. I don't know if you can see any of this. Got all different things growing in there. Like I said, I've been killing the anemones. This is my big anemone killer right here. So I stick this in their mouth and inject them.
It's just like killing big cetaceans,
but, you know, the neat thing is, like you can see, they're actual bubble chip anemones. Everybody keeps asking me to get them. It's like, well, I can't get them out.
Oh, they're
They're
everywhere.
just stuck in there.
They can be quite a challenge. Actually,
yeah, they just took over the whole side of the tank. What did you say?
They are a challenge to get them off. I've fought them on small scale. I couldn't imagine getting the whole army out of there.
All these assholes want to do is eat. Their lights just came on, so they're not too used to what time of day it is right now. Their lights don't come on for another 2 hours. So I think a bunch of them are still hiding in the rocks right now. But yeah, this is just the equipment room behind the tank.
Very cool.
Got a walkway right there. That's how I get on the top of the tank. Got our ballasts connected up everywhere.
So how often do you actually crawl in there to work on it or put corals in or maintain it or do something inside of it?
The least amount possible.
Yeah.
Because I hate doing it. Yeah. I mean, should be in there like every 2 weeks, but I don't get that.
Yeah. It sounds like it'd be a fun novelty, but it'd become a lot of work after a while.
Food style. Trying to figure out if I can show you this. Food. So we keep a whole freezer full of it. I eat everything.
Pack of food a day, 2 packs a day. How many? Roughly how many fish do you have inside of there?
Those are. What do you say?
Roughly how many fish do you have inside of there?
That tank right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I just keep adding them. Those are our new quarantine tanks that we need to get hooked up and running.
Nice.
And they'll go down to the base thing and be able to quarantine some fish again.
Very nice.
Yeah,
I guess
thanks.
You'd have to be diligent on quarantine, I guess, with so much invested in there and so many fish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of quarantining them. I'm not a big proponent of medication, though, so I usually just leave them in hyposalinity for about a month and a half to 2 months. And I find that they all seem to do pretty well doing that.
Nice. Then once you know they're good, you save to move it in.
Yep. Yeah, the last fish we put in there, I think we put 3 gem tangs in there, and they're all alive and healthy and happy in there.
No, that's excellent.
Um,
A couple of minutes ago, Derek was asking, if I forget about it, but he was asking what makes, he goes, can you explain what makes the automatic calcium reactor? What makes, does it hook up to an Apex or what makes it automatic? It's kind of just
it
asking for
makes
more
it
details.
automatic because it's basically digitally controlled. I'm not too good at explaining things, but what makes it automatic is you just don't have to set it. You don't have to adjust a bubble rate. You don't have to adjust the flow rate. None of that stuff.
Now,
Once you set it at your desired alkalinity level, it will maintain it there unless your corals start to grow or you add more.
does it have
We
its
just
own
wanted to
feed
take
pump
all the
through it?
its own what?
Does it have its own feed pump or does it, you just push water into it?
It does not. Yeah, we just hook it up to, like, most of the time usually a return line, or some people will put a small pump in their sump, but it does not use a peristaltic pump or anything like that. We pulse the output flow, so the flow coming out of it's not continuous.
Yeah. So it doesn't even matter. As long as something's forcing water towards it, it does its thing.
Exactly. And since the flow is not continuous, we don't get a lot of the problems with the pH decreasing. Actually, most of the time you see an 8.3, 8.4 pH on the tanks, which is nice.
Oh, that's nice, actually, because that's always the biggest complaint of calcium reactors is low pH.
Yep. And the effluent usually comes out about a 40 DKH, and it can get as high as 60 DKH. So if you think about that, it's just dosed for like 1 or 2 seconds of 60 DKH water in there. It doesn't really have a chance to drop your pH, but it provides everything you need.
That's a good way of doing it, actually. I never considered that.
Yep.
And then,
we had some problems with the first units and the valves and stuff we used, so we replaced all those, and we're sending out whole new valve modules to everybody for no charge.
Yep, that's awesome. So lots of good support behind it, which is always good to see.
Yep.
Nice. Where is he getting? Where is it getting the DKH from the tank? I don't quite understand your question on that one, Derek.
When you first set it up, you have to measure your tank DKH. You can use a test kit or something like that, and then you just make a couple of basic adjustments to the reactor, and it takes it from there.
Okay.
If you have like an Apex Trident, then you can plug the reactor right into your Apex module, do a little bit of programming, and it will control the reactor from there.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So how would you interface with other controllers? Is it just turning it on and off, or is there a signal wire or something that you connect it with?
Yeah, there's a signal wire, and we have different types of connections for the end of it for different types of controllers.
Okay.
We can even get it down to a simple, just an on-off plug. So a lot of our stuff is, adjusted and custom made and stuff. So if you need something that fits a certain application, it's not a big deal for us to make it.
No, that's pretty cool. What's the craziest thing that you've built for saltwater related?
Craziest thing? I don't know. I mean, just, people are fascinated by the heat exchangers. Like, they've never seen those before. And I'm a big proponent of those for large systems.
Actually, that's a good question. What size of system does the heat exchanger start making worthwhile over just like standard electric heaters?
Well, I mean, any system that's going to make a good worthwhile if you got like over 200 gallons, because you've got the reliability factor of electric heaters. They're so poorly made. I've dissected so many electric heaters, and they're just horrible.
Yeah.
But 300 gallons is where you start to see an actual impact in your electric bill, especially if you're in an area that has cold tap water and you can use it for cooling. It makes a huge impact. Yep.
Now, if you're using it mainly for heating, would you just run like a loop through a hot water heater through it, or how would you have that set up?
Yep, we have a control panel that goes with it. It actuates the valves and has a pump built into it, so it actually just circulates hot water through it. Nice. I've been doing it that way for probably 20 years now.
It's a heck of a lot cheaper than electricity.
Oh my God, yes. Yep, and the reliability factor is 10 times better.
Derek said he's buying one of your automatic calcium reactors tomorrow.
Well, tell him to call me, and I can help him out.
Yep.
We like to talk to all of our customers before they buy things. Plus, our website is a disaster.
Fair enough. Okay, someone's asking. Casey's going to contact you. Bill's asking, what's your electricity bill for your tank?
You really want to know? Well, my
That'll be
electric
crazy.
bill for the whole house, including the workshop and the tank, runs about 1,400 a month.
Yeah. How much of it takes the
We're
tank?
not sure how much of that's split between the fish tank and the workshops, but we're thinking a good amount of it's the fish tank because we've got 12,000-watt lights up there, so that's using some electricity.
Yep, that's
You
a
know?
good chunk. Um, that actually isn't
Yeah,
terrible considering how big it is, though. But probably mainly because of your heat exchanger.
yeah, that and we try to use efficient pumps and everything we do. We try to do it from an efficiency standpoint.
Hmm. So, I mean, the surge systems, surge tank, I guess you call it. That's probably one of the more efficient
Uh-huh.
ways to move water in that big tank. So you have reservoirs
Oh
up
yeah.
in your attic that it dumps down through.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of different ways people do surge tanks, like the Carlson surge, but most of them introduce bubbles into it.
Hmm.
So what we do is in our tank we have two float switches, a high level and low level. When it gets to the low level, which is about 6 inches of water in there, it shuts the valve off so that
Hmm.
we don't get a bunch of air blown into the tank,
Nice.
which is really nice. If I'm in the tank diving in the same time when the surge goes off, it'll shoot me halfway across the tank. There's been a few times I've had my butt sitting on top of the jet where it comes out because it comes out of a 3-inch nozzle,
Hmm.
and it's just flopped me right over onto my face. You know,
Forgot to turn it off when you jumped in.
that's a fun one. Yep.
Uh,
The other thing that's interesting about it is a lot of our fish will crawl down into the hole, like the wrasses and stuff,
oh,
and
yeah.
they'll wait for it to turn on, and they'll come shooting out of there like little rockets.
So they play in
And I
it.
don't know why they do that. They just love to find a pipe. Yeah, keeps them occupied.
That's
You
funny. It's
know?
like a big game for them.
Yeah.
How big is the plumbing? I saw a bunch of maybe 4 or 5 inch that return. What does he use for the pressure side of things?
The pressure side is all 3-inch and 2-inch Schedule 80.
Okay.
Um, Drains and stuff like that, and the surge piping is all 6-inch Schedule 80.
Mhm. Pretty good size. Okay. Derek's asking, do you maintain a high pH? He said you're using calc as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to keep my pH 8.3, 8.4, but
Hmm.
I've used Kalkwasser for so long. I love it. It just makes the coral and algae grow like crazy. So I just always use it. I mean, with the reactor running in tune properly, we don't get to use a whole lot of it
Hmm.
because it keeps the pH pretty high on
Yeah.
itself. But
But
it's
then,
nice to add.
you
You
don't
know,
get to go in there with your air sander and clean your glass, your acrylic.
I kind of avoid that if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. But little known thing about Kalkwasser is it binds phosphate in the water, which is nice. Pulls
Bonus.
down the phosphate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have any nutrient issues at all with dumping in, a pack or two of food a day?
No, nitrate and phosphate stay pretty much low to undetectable on their own.
Hmm.
We don't really have any issues with that. We have enough rock in there to take care of any denitrification and stuff. And phosphate, we just don't have an issue with it. I think that's because of the aggressive skimming and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I can't keep soft corals for crap in there. I've tried numerous times. Even if I shut my skimmer off for a month, and I've done that, it still doesn't make any difference. The water's just too clean.
Too clean just from the massive skimming on it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah.
interesting.
And then, yeah, I mean, it's not like we're not feeding enough and we don't have a bunch of big fat fish in there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding. Tons and
Yeah.
tons. It's so crazy to think there's like buckets of food you literally dump in on a daily basis. But goes to show all that
Oh, yeah.
filtration is working. Now, when you were showing your
Yeah.
filtration room, you were cutting out a little bit. So you had two kind of sump systems down there, it looked like?
Yep.
Okay. Now, did you
Yeah.
do
Each one is a 10 foot by 10 foot.
okay. Were you running any form of macroalgae in there, or is it mainly all just your skimmer pulling out all the nutrients?
The skimmer's pulling out all the nutrients. We've tried to get some macroalgae to grow in the first sump with halides above it,
Hmm.
and we just couldn't get it to take off at all.
Okay.
There's just really not enough excess nutrients. Things change so much when you get into this higher water volume. It's weird comparative to like even like 1,000-gallon tank,
Hmm.
which people would think is, oh, that's a huge tank. Well, things are more normal in a 1,000-gallon tank than they are in a 20,000-gallon tank. I mean,
Huh.
just a lot of weird stuff goes in there. It like starts
Okay.
turning into its own little ecosystem in there. It's kind of interesting how it starts taking care of itself.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, I actually do. Yeah, I do very, very little maintenance on this thing, and the corals just keep growing.
Hmm. Hey, that's a good problem to have. Now,
Yeah,
before
and
you,
the anemones keep growing.
oh, they're just like the pests in your tank now. So okay, before you went to like the massive 20,000 gallon tank, what was your tank size before this?
1,500 gallons,
Okay, so that's a pretty solid
and
jump.
built that in a I built that in a house in Illinois that I owned, and
Hmm.
we put the tank in there that I built in my workshop, um, and then we built a whole building or another extension on the house around the tank. And then about 3 years later, when we went to shut everything down and move out of that house, the humidity had just destroyed the walls, rotted through the ceiling
Yeah,
joists. It was fantastic.
lovely.
Yeah, big mistake.
So
So that's where I learned to do negative air to keep the humidity down.
okay, so is it blowing air out of the room and then it just gets sucked
Yeah,
in
we
through the
have
cracks so that the humidity doesn't spread elsewhere? Or how do you have it set up for the negative airspace or negative pressure in there?
yeah, we have a big fan that is commonly used in chicken coops because it's basically waterproof,
Hmm.
and that sucks air through one side of the room. It comes on for 5 minutes every hour, and
Hmm.
then we have a set of louvers, electric louvers on the other side of the room, and it just draws in fresh air. Even below zero weather outside, like we're at right now, it'll just suck in that cold air and blows it out. Um, if it's really cold outside, it'll actually make snow coming out of the side of the house. It's
Oh,
pretty cool.
really?
It's like a snowmaker. But all through the summer and the winter, we never have any humidity problems in there.
Hmm. Oh, very cool. Okay. Derek's asking, how loud are the calcium reactors? Is there much of a noise to them?
No, not at all. The valve box makes a couple clicking and stuff when you first start it up, but
Hmm.
then it goes to pretty silent after that. Can't hear the pumps running or anything.
So a couple relay clicks, and that's what it here and there.
Yep. Yeah. Derek really wants a reactor, huh?
He does. He's all about the home automation, and I had him on actually at the
Uh,
stream a while ago. So he automates everything. So I think he's going to be probably calling you pretty soon.
okay, cool.
Yep. Awesome. Make sure I'm not missing anything else for questions. Hopefully I got them all. If I did miss anyone's questions, let me know. But I think I got most of them. Someone's asking about your lighting. I believe you said you had 12 1,000 watt halides. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
we're going to take it up to 16 here pretty shortly.
Nice. That's awesome. Any place to see pictures of his tank? Do you have your tank posted anywhere?
Just search for it really. If you look up under Bill Wann's aquarium, there's a bunch of videos that were done on it, pictures and stuff like that. That's the easiest way to find it.
All right.
Or you can come friends with us on Facebook, and that's where I keep most of my information at.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah. No,
I'm
definitely is.
not very active on any of the Reef boards.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
building the custom stuff. Okay. So I've seen calcium reactors, I've seen massive skimmers, I've seen the CO2 changer, the heat exchangers. Any other kind of crazy, kind of cool custom aquarium related stuff you built?
Sulfur reactors we build, we like those. We do whole systems for people.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally we'll build the whole tank and stuff. We did quite a bit of equipment down in Cayman Islands and stuff, which, don't really like working down there. A little too hot for me,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, we just like to build anything, and we like people just to come up with crazy ideas like, hey, can you make this? Yeah, okay.
Sounds
You
good.
can think of it, we can probably make it.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
really cool. Yeah, I'm jealous of your workshop. Is like, the big kids, like awesome creative garage of anything you can think of. You can probably build it in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been building stuff. It's just my hobby, just make whatever I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps me occupied.
No, it's pretty awesome. So, okay, here's an interesting question. If you ever moved, would you do the massive tank again? Would you go bigger? Would you do the same, smaller,
Bigger.
bigger?
The minute I filled this thing up with water, I regretted not going bigger. My dad, when I was building it, my dad was like, "You might as well make it twice as big right now because you know you're going to want it." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't want to deal with that right now." And da 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 da. I would have had to add more space onto the house. And now I regret not doing it,
Yeah.
because my whole life is just going from one tank to the next size. But I would
Yeah.
not do a flat rectangular tank again. I would do something more interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Ah, that'd be cool. Well, you'll have to keep us updated if you ever do some new crazy bigger one.
Yep.
Uh, Someone else asking, what's your typical lead time on building products? I'm assuming they're built to order.
Yeah, it's moving out a lot quicker right now, so it does vary from day to day.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, we have some stuff on the shelf right now ready to ship. So it
Nice.
depends on what you
Okay.
want.
Okay.
If I can stop redesigning parts, they would go a lot faster. But I redesigned lids on things, and that set us back for a while. If I
Hmm.
can find anything that's a failure, where my customers say, like, I had a couple of customers say, "Oh, the lid's hard to get off." Okay,
Hmm.
screw that. We'll make a new lid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
No.
try to listen to what people say and try to make things better.
No. That's awesome. Love to see it. So always improving it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple people to see in your tank shots. Amazing. Yeah. Lots of love for it. No, it's awesome. I appreciate you coming on today and checking out. Any other interesting new products in the works or any other stuff you're working on?
Um, well, we're working on a heater controller
Hmm.
that will actually sense when the heater's going to fail and stuff like that.
Nice.
Basically, it'll have two heaters in there, one as a backup, and we're working on a control system for your RO system,
So
so
what
it'll
is
allow it
that?
to do level control, flow monitoring.
Like
Oh, I
pre-flush
didn't hear what you
itself?
said.
Okay. So with the
Yep,
RO controller,
flush, blow
so
down, all that stuff.
okay, nice. That'd be pretty cool. Are those in the
Yeah,
near horizon or down the road?
pretty near actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, we took all the stuff that you would put on an industrial RO system and applied it to a small RO system.
Nice. A couple of people asking about calcium reactors for smaller tanks. What's kind of the smallest tank you'd say they're rated for?
We make a we make a nano reactor, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Um, just a little tiny guy, and he's like for 75 gallons and under tanks.
Oh, perfect. There you go. So you got one for
Yeah,
basically any size.
and it uses the same control hardware as the bigger reactors do.
Just smaller canister tube, basically.
Yep,
Little.
smaller tube and smaller everything else. And yeah, a couple people asked us to make little itty bitty guys, so we started doing it. So right now we have that, which is a 4-inch diameter. We have a 6-inch diameter. We have an 8-inch diameter, 10-inch diameter, and a 12-inch diameter that we build.
Nice. Awesome.
But everything can be customized in height and stuff like that, so no problems there.
Okay. So that's one cool thing. So if someone has a specific space, you can make the perfect one to fit in there and they're ready to roll.
Yep. Yeah, we have that problem all the time where they say only got 29 inches under my stand, but I want to get the most reactor I can in there, so we'll custom make something to fit right in there for them.
Oh, that's very cool. So if people want to contact you, they want to, get a custom something reactor or some other crazy idea built to make their tank even more awesome, how do they get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
You can email us through our website, which is aquariumeng.com.
Mhm.
Okay, or you can just ring me on the phone at 262-960-9517.
Perfect.
Believe it or not, I try to answer all the time. Or you can text me there too.
So you're easy to get a hold of.
Yeah, we try to
I
make it easy. I'm up late at night, so we always have customers calling late at night asking questions about stuff or how to run things, or if you need a repair, you can usually reach me midnight if you need to, or later.
well, you can't be that for
Just
support.
don't
That's
try and
awesome.
catch me in the morning if I'm not around.
All right. Midnight's fine, 7 a.m. Nope, don't even try.
No, yeah, 7 a.m. That's not going to work.
That's awesome. Yeah, perfect. Well, I think I don't want to keep you all night, but I appreciate you coming on today, and I'm kind of excited because I know Derek. He's going to be all over it. He's already keeps asking questions about it, so be cool to see more of it come to life later. So yeah,
Yeah, but
hopefully you
yeah, it
guys.
was nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said it was nice having me on. I appreciate it.
Hmm. No, definitely appreciate you coming on today, giving us a bit of a tour, and yeah, we'll have to have you on again in the future one day. But yeah, really cool products, and I don't know, I love following you on Facebook. So if you guys just want to see cool stuff being made, follow you, and you can see awesome projects in the works. And actually, I just saw you bought an ICP machine too recently.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that we work on. So figured I
Hmm.
might as well just get one. So we're gonna fix that up and get it running. Just for the fun of it.
Makes perfect sense.
Uh, yeah,
Awesome. Okay, perfect. I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you all night, but I really appreciate you coming on today. And yeah, thank you so much for the tour and kind of showing us everything what's going on with your tank.
Okay. Well, thank you
Okay,
for having us.
okay,
Appreciate it.
thanks. Awesome.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye.